Yo, what's up? Welcome to the second optimization stream. So, yesterday I did some optimization. What I did was I basically asked the cursor AI, I don't know which model was I using, I don't even care. I just asked an AI for suggestions about improving the performance of my code. And I followed three of the suggestions, and as a result, I'm pretty sure the performance has gotten better. And then off stream, I realized that the big problem with performance I have is that after using a key blast, like any kind of key blast, for example, let me use, let me show you an example. So if I would, wait, mm, so if I shoot something, you can see that here the object appears. So like notice how the object like the blast has already exploded, but there's still the instance of the blast here, which means that like I'm losing performance because it takes me too much time to delete the blast after the its functionality has ended. So I'm planning to do something for improving that. Like a big problem is that after it explodes, there can be like a particle effect left. And that happens a lot with explosions. So like with this move, there are lots of explosions which stay there even after finishing the actual hitbox. So today I want to try to add a new system where I can call a function from the animator. So when the hitbox gets turned off, I call this function, and what the function does is disable all of the functionality from the blast, so that it only remains the explosion effect itself. It's like look at how much stuff gets like accumulated. I want to try avoid that as much as possible. So yeah, let's see how can we do that. So let's go into project scripts and oh, I forgot to enter the Discord channel. If anyone wants to join. Okay. Mm, yeah, so let's open the Blast controller, which is like the main Blast script. Where is it? It's probably in the Blast folder, Blast controller. Yeah. So I need to create a function which disables all the functionality of the Blast. That's the point of today's stream. That's the first main objective. Then I have other things I want to try. So let's see, if I want to disable the blast, what are the things I have to stop? Like generally, I have to stop any script which has a fixed update and an update doing stuff. So here, there's like the call to the state machine, for example, and you also have other scripts which do other stuff. So, for example, you have the blast hit controller, but this one doesn't really. No, yeah, it actually does fix the update. Yeah, there are a lot of scripts. So I think that what I'm going to do is with this function that I'm going to add, I'll just disable all of the script components from the blast so that they cannot keep doing any calculations. Also, the blast scorebox receiver also has stuff. Mm, There's a problem though because destroy there's this thing that removes the beam blast from the beam struggle after getting destroyed. Mm, I don't know if this will cause any problems. Well, I can always call this inside of the destruction function. Okay, let's see. I need to create a function down here probably. So public void stop blast. Let's call it. Mm, and so like of course I can't disable the blast controller because then mm, whatever happens inside here won't happen. So for blast controller in particular, I'll just have a flag and do mm, blast and let's call it, and I'm going to initialize it at true plus true on the await function, or maybe even start. Yo, Delta, what's up? Yo, do you want to see some epic gameplay on a J5? Or is that phone? Okay, here. I'm going to show you the coolest gameplay that has ever been played in this kind of phone, bro. Like the fact that it's actually playable and I'm just half through the optimization process, it's pretty neat. Okay, it's loading. Hola, recién iniciaste el directo. Sí, bro, acabo de empezar. Como puedes ver, llevo 10 minutos. Okay, I'm going to add. Can you see this? No, you can't, bro. You can sometimes, sometimes you cannot. I'm going to add 4 characters. Sorry, 6. Wait, let me zoom in. And now it actually moves pretty well, bro. Like the only problem is still when Gogeta starts spamming the how was it called, bro? Stardust Fall. Yeah, like generally it actually works pretty well, bro. Like not even joking. I think like I still have to add the blast PNGs because right now all the BFX are invisible because I haven't added yet the replacement PNGs for the different BFX. But like that's not really going to impact performance much because it's just PNGs, you know. Like actually the Key Blast already used PNGs. I used literally a three PNG. Okay, so let's continue with this blast and through. So now inside of update, Epic this is gonna go crazy even in poor countries now. Yeah, bro, that's the point. Like everyone needs to be able to play the best DBC game in existence, you know, bro. Like this is going to be the best DBC game ever. Because some are gonna go crazy. Epic. Bro, as long as you have at least a J5, you can play this game. That's that's my objective. Like of course, there are certain game modes which will be very complex and will have like very big maps and a lot of enemies. So those modes probably are not going to be playable on very low end devices. But at least I want you to be able to play like small game modes, you know, like versus mode or small battle modes, something like that. Well, actually, like you can like if I add minions like freeze soldiers, they won't really affect performance that much because i- for example, the basic freeze soldier doesn't shoot blasts. So as long as the minions don't start spamming key blast like crazy, you can probably have like 20 minions at the same time without having much performance issues, maybe. Okay, so boy, yeah, here I need to check if this flag is true. Blast end. So if blast end, then return. No, sorry, this has to start at false. Actually, so if blast and return, and here the same. So if this flag is turned on, then skip all of the frame logic. Mm, Galaxy S8. Isn't Galaxy S8 like a pretty good phone, bro? Bro, that's like a pretty good phone. It's like maybe it's equivalent to the one I have right now, or maybe it's even no, it's actually better. Or no, no, I don't think so. It only has 4 GB of RAM. Bro, like imagine the regular one will lag under crazy circumstances. What do you mean the regular one? Like I don't know what by what I'm seeing from the S8, that's like equivalent to my current phone, which is an A42, and on my phone it works pretty well. So like if you have that phone like an S8, I don't think you will have any problems on any game mode that I make. Because like you have to think, if I'm optimizing for very low end devices, that means that mid-range devices will run like crazy. Okay, if blast and return. Okay, so now here I need to get all of the components. Like, let's see what are the components which have like fixed update logic. Okay, bro, thanks for compiling the scripts. Yes, so I'm going to go into a prefab. Any prefab works. No data. You lost. When are you doing a full freeze update? Uh, if you subscribe to the Patreon, you will know. That's all I can say. You only need like the five $5 or euro or whatever subscription to know. Like remember there are like 20 more than 20 designs, I think. Like around 20 designs that are Patreon only. And like they are the best designs I have done so far. Like they are role equality or even actually they are better than role equality in my opinion. So I would consider joining our Patreon. Okay, so let's look at what the components are. You have the blast controller, okay, blast heat controller. Do you have a reference to the blast heat controller? I do have it. So I have to like do this thing where I disable it. The controller dot is active, bro. I don't know what was the command for this. Enable, enable. I think it's enable equals false. Maybe even over. I need to tell. It doesn't give an error, and I guess that's good. And then we have blast hit control. Yeah, you already saw that. Blast hardbox receiver. So let's go to the. Do we have blast hardbox? No, we don't have the component. Doesn't matter. I can just get it here. Mm, so get component blast hardbox receiver dot enable equals false. Then what else do we have? We have the hitbox, but the hitbox actually already gets disabled, so it doesn't matter. And the hardbox, I guess the hardbox gets disabled too, like on the destroy frame. Yeah, like both hitbox and hardbox get disabled. So yeah. Okay, and here I need a parameter load time. Mm, and then load destroy time. Because if I stop the logic from the blast controller, well, actually, I can just leave the. Yeah, I can leave this part of the blast, like the fixed update, I can leave it. At least the part where the state machine gets called, because the destroy function is from there. Like, this will still get called. And this way, I make sure that the remove bin gets called. But then it's like, if I want a custom amount of time for getting destroyed, I need to create a new destroy state, and that's kind of annoying. Mm, right. Other destroys we have Stardust Fall Destroy. What's the difference between those? Okay, so this one doesn't have a remove beam. It makes sense because it can't enter uh, the beam struggle. But yeah, like here there's a play SFX, so I do need to call this. Like it's not even that, like it's okay, I can just call the destroy state regularly. Like that doesn't really consume much resources. The problem is that the Hordbox receiver has like a loop, and what else? I think the hit controller also has its tablet. So yeah, like I'm just going to do this thing. So yeah, then I'm just going to change this to after the fixed update is called. And I can do the same here. Actually, I'll just do it. I just don't want this part which calculates the movement to be called because like there's no movement after the blast. It's destroyed already. So yeah. So now I'm disabling the hit controller and the Herbox receiver. I think. I hope. So I'm going to make sure that that's actually happening. So let's take, for example, the Stardust Fall. I need the prefab from Stardust Fall. So we're going to into the destroy frames. So first, at the beginning, you have like the hitbox from the explosion, and then after here, at this point, the hitbox disappears. Okay, so after the hitbox disappears, I need to call this function which I created, which disables both the hit controller and the hitbox receiver. So let's add an event. Stop blast, and like I have this float, but I'm going to delete it because I don't need it in the end. Oh, this stream is so dead. There's no one watching. So technically, after a certain amount of time, this component and then this one should get disabled, and now that should improve the performance because like those two scripts do like fixed update logic. So let's see if it actually works. I'm going to look like, wait, for making it easier for me, I'm going to actually enable the VFX. And now I need to get some old Stardust Fall. Maybe this one. So the hit controller is still on. Yeah, there it got disabled, you see? So now that it's disabled, there's no more like there's no more fixed update tape takes from there. And there shouldn't be no bugs from this because like I'm just disabling it after the blast is already done. Like there's nothing else the blast has to do. So just in case to show check if everything works right, I'm going to try using it against enemies, just in case something got bugged or whatever. Like the destroy function, this thing still gets called because here on the fixed update, I have this return after the fixed update for the state machine gets called, and this way this script will still get called. Okay, so let me pick Super Gotita and let's add some enemies. And now let's kill everyone. Bro, I want to see the VFX, bro. I have them turned off by default. Okay, no bugs to be seen, everything works fine. So yeah, like it works fine, and now there's less stuff happening on the scene. So yeah, that's pretty epic. And I'm like destroying the blast after 2 seconds. It's okay. Like right now, like using more time to destroy the blast is not as bad as it was before. Because now, even though the blast is still not destroyed, at least there are like the main components are turned off. So there's no logic happening on every frame. So yeah, that's pretty epic. This should pretty much improve the performance. Now I need to add this to like some other blasts. So let's see. Mm, Let's look at the prefabs. Gogeta. I want to select the machine gun attack. How was it even called? Soul Punisher, Shinobi Blood, Punisher Drive. It's neither of these, bro. Explosive Key Blast. I think it's this one, right? Can you see the visual effect? Evolve. Is it this one? I don't know, bro. Kinda looks the same as a regular Evolve. Okay, I think I'm just going to look at the machine gun. Well, let's see what gets spawned. Explosive Key Blast. Yeah, it's the explosive Key Blast. It's this one. So let's look at the destroy animation. So it does like an explosion, and after be really bad. And back. So I was saying like the hitbox gets disabled here. Mm, no, so it's like this destroy state from this one. Supposed to kill 5 seconds. What? Why does it wait for 5 seconds to get destroyed, bro? It's insane. I'm going to try two. I think two is enough. Like 5 seconds. So yeah, I'm going to have 5 seconds, and then here, what? You're on the destroy. I'll just have a call to the stop blast function. Just I want to make sure something. Okay, this ChatGPT says that the event fires after the keyframe, so I can just use it on the same frame where the hitbox gets disabled. Mm, and then I also want to see the regular key blast, and that's it. So let's look at key blast. Mm, destroy. What? Let's see, destroy. So actually, the destroy doesn't even have a hitbox in the first place, right? Yeah, it's disabled all the time because key blasts are not explosive, so they don't have a hitbox during the destroy frame, which means I can just call the event at the beginning because, like, once the key wall is destroyed, there's no need for more fixed update text. So yeah, this should basically improve a lot the performance. So let's see. I didn't break anything. I'm going to try out the. Oh wait, the, like what key blast did I change? Because there are two different key blasts. There's the blue one and the yellow one. Mm, yeah, here's the yellow one. Mm, wait, what? Oh, both of them use the same animation clips. Are still on the same screen as when I left. That's not true, bro. What? Well, I've made a lot of progress, so mm, so they both use the same animation clips, right? And the only difference is these effects that appear here. Yeah, like I guess like maybe you left when I was looking at a different prefab. Like this is the screen you see when you are looking at a prefab, and a prefab is just like mm, how do I explain? Like you can make a prefab of a keyboard and then create various instances of that prefab. So I just create one keyboard, and then for spawning a lot of keyboards, I just use that prefab as a reference, and I just keep spawning the same prefab, like creating an object that you can duplicate, kind of. I'm actually curious about how do I spawn like different types of keyboards. Like I have one for blue keyboard and the other for yellow. Like if I want to spawn a keyboard which is faster, then I will need to like access the instance and change this frame of property. No, like, bro, well, I guess it's fine. Like, it's not like I'm going to add like 900 different keyboard colors. So I can just have a prefab for every color. Like, I could technically enter these properties here and assign the color through script, but that will be like kinda awful. Like, I don't even know how to get like the code of the color. Well, that doesn't matter. Okay, let's see if I didn't break the game. So I edited the key blast and the machine gun from Godzilla. So let's see if both moves work fine. Like I basically just edited the ones that you can spam because the ones that you don't spam aren't really that important to optimize because like for example Big Bang attack from Vegeta you just shoot like one and that's it. You need, bro, you need the BFX, bro. Okay. Now we're in seeing the last. How did the bro? What was the input for the machine gun? Literally don't remember, bro. What? Okay, so yeah, it looks pretty fine. Yeah, doesn't seem to be any problems with it. I don't see errors. I think. No, no errors. Just the like these two errors are not my fault. They are some weird Unity stuff. So yeah, like I optimized the bloods and they work fine. I just want to see like, do they still work fine on a beam struggle? I want Vegeta to throw at me like a weapon attack. Bro, with what? I got an error here. What is this from? Doesn't really tell me. Distance what? Oh, it's from the AI bands. Yeah, like I know about this error. I just want to see if the beam struggle works. Bro, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it works perfectly. So yes, I managed to optimize the blasts while keeping them working, which is pretty rapid. And now, what else did I have planned? Like, this is going way faster than expected, bro. Only 40 minutes, and I already did my two main objectives of today. But there's literally no one watching, bro. Like, I'm making history over here. Okay, what do I do now? So, do I have any blast optimizations left or not? Mm, I don't think so. Like, not really. Okay, so besides from blasts, what other thing can I optimize? So one very bad source of lag is the decals. So I should add an option for just disabling them for low-end devices. or maybe not disable them, but like having a limit amount of decals, like a slider, so you can go from 0 decals to infinite decals. Mm, I don't know, but what else? Like I last night I was thinking about optimization ideas, and like I'm pretty sure I have. Oh yeah, also like these rocks, for example, use lead. This is a lead shader. I'm pretty sure. So I need to create like unlit versions of it, like I did with the ground. Mm. And also maybe LODs. Like here I'm using this LOD. That could be using this one instead. Bro, why don't I see any differences? Bro, what? Is it changing at all? Or oh yeah, it does. But like you can barely notice any difference. This has some more detail, but like not much. To be honest, maybe I can just use the smaller LOD by default, and that's it. Like I don't really care. Like I can't even notice the difference, bro. Like they look the same, bro. This one has 200 triangles, and this one only 92. So it's a pretty big improvement. So yeah, I'm just going to replace all the LODs by like the small version, and that's it. I'm not even going to add it as an option. Like it's always going to be the smaller one. Like this, you would only be able to notice this if you were like in first person, but if you're like, if the camera is far away, then you won't notice it. This is already the small one, right? Yeah, it is. Here, in here, in here, and here. No, that's already saved. And this one too. I don't think they have any other tool. Yeah, they have all been changed to smaller, less detailed LOD. And now mm, I want to look at changing the textures to like an unlit material. So I already do that for the plane. Like here you see this material here, but I actually have two materials, not just one. So let me see where's that here on map design. You have two materials for the map. Like the ground, this is just a texture that I painted. So the two materials are one of them is lead, which means that it gets affected by lightning, and I use it for like the PC configuration, and then the OLED one does not get affected by lighting, and I use it for the mobile version. So I need to see how do I swap between those two materials. I also want to know, like, this material here, where is it even stored? Okay, it's here. Yeah, okay. Do all of them use the same one or what? Like, even if they are a different rock, they all use the same material? What? It's kind of weird. The fuck, bro? So it's the same. I guess like this material includes all the textures at once. If that makes it easier actually, then that means that I just have to create a new material which uses the same texture as this one, but it's unlit instead of being lit. So let me create material. Now here, wait, let me unlit. Well, so I need to get the unlit one, unlit. And now here, base map. Where's the base map at? It's there. Bro, how do I even, how do I open two folders at once, bro? It's inside the textures. So you can just click here, then click here, and then go back. Text. Bro, it disappeared like what? How am I supposed to drag texture if like when I click a folder, this inspector view here disappears, bro? It's so dumb. Then like fix. Yeah, I can probably lock it, and now I can go back. Yeah, okay, that one. Great. And here I drag the base one. Okay, so now it does have two materials. Okay, I have this one and the other one. So let's see how does it look. Okay, it looks very shiny, as you can see. That's because the light does not affect it. So I just need to like adjust coloring so it matches more the environment. Maybe I can just edit this base color. Or I can make the rock any color. It's so epic. To make a rainbow rock. So I'm just going to make it gray. Yeah, you can see there it's already looking pretty similar to the lit one. The difference being that if you have shadows on and you stand here, like the rock won't receive shadows, but that doesn't matter because on mobile shadows are disabled. Okay, so that's it. I already have set up the material. Maybe it should be a bit like the color should be more blue, I think. Let's make it bluer. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty similar to lit one. So now I need to see how did I make it to change like the, let me show you how the ground changes. RPG stone. Yo, what's up? New person in the chat. Okay, so like if I go into options and I change from PC to mobile, you see how the ground kind of changes color a bit? That's because I'm changing the ground material from lit to unlit. Actually, like here you can see a shadow, kind of like it's pretty soft, but here there's a shadow from this rock, okay? So, well, you cannot see. Okay, there's the shadow, but if I go into mobile, the shadow disappears. That's because now the ground is an unlit shader and it doesn't cast shadows. So I need to do the same thing but with the rocks because like the rocks stay the same and I need to change their material too. So let's see how does that even work. Let's go into graphics setting. It's going to update general quality. Okay, here. I do ground render material equals ground lit material or ground unlit material. So I need to create like a list of the rocks that are on the scene and do that. But also, I think the trees might be using what are they even using? What? It's like what? Shadow graph. What? Okay, so this doesn't actually use like a sprite render. It's a shader graph thing. Mm, tree shader. What? I created a shader just for the trees. That's so random. I don't even remember how to make shaders. Like, why did I need to do that exactly? Mm, like, I want to know if they are lit or unlit. I need to set it right. Just does it receive a shadow? I don't see that it's receiving a shadow. So I guess that makes it unlit because like so receive shadows and stuff. Okay, so let's just replace the rock material. So ground lit material, ground unlit material. And I also need the rock material. So I need to write in here rock lit material and rock unlit material. And I need to have this reference to the ground render mesh render. So I need that kind of reference for the rock renders. But there are a lot of rocks, so I'll just give it like this doesn't even need to be very optimized because it's just a graphic option. Like I don't really care if you select the option and the game freezes for a second. Like, that's okay. So I'll just pass a reference to this rocks object, which contains all the rocks. And then what will happen is that there will be a loop which will go through all the rocks. And for each of them, it will change the mesh render material. And that's it. Pretty straightforward. So I just need like, mm, I do need like I need a better system for doing this because in the future there will be several different maps and each map will have different assets. So I need like a system where I can just specify like I need to specify the assets that the map will like for example for this map I will need a list with all the rock object, maybe. And then the graphic settings script will read that list and will go through the assets and will apply the changes to the material. Something like that. I'm thinking, bro, how do I even make this happen? Mm, the thing is that I don't even know right now how will I even make new maps. Maybe I'm not like until I know that there's no point of thinking about this. So for now, I'm just going to hard code it into this map, and that's it. For now, at least. Later on, I'll make a better system. But for now, I just want like public game of the rocks, and I'm just going to assign it through the inspector. So yeah, general functions here, lit material, unlit material, and then the rocks game object is this one here. And now every time you change the graphic setting, what you do is here, if general quality is 0, then let's open a bracket. First, we change the ground material, and then we have to go for its, how did the for its look? Its in the object rock in rocks, then do rock get component, wait, yeah, the component mesh render. Did I get the component from the ground? Get component mesh render. Okay. Mesh render, then the material equals rock lit material. And that's it. Later on, when I do like the multiple map thing, instead of using get component every time you change the quality, I will probably get the components at the beginning and then just use the references instead of searching for the reference every single time. And then else, I need to open a new bracket and just copy this look here and then use the unlit material. And yeah, that's it. Like, I'm pretty sure it's done. Rain so fast today. Wait, I have an error. The object does not contain a public instance or extension or get the enumerator. What are you saying, bro? Oh yeah, I am kinda not very intelligent. For some reason I thought that rocks was a list, but it's not a list. I need like something which gives me the list of child game objects. Just a second. So I need to do dot transform and then here transform. And now I just have to like work T and then here remote rock equals rock T dot gain mode. And that should work most likely. Yeah, but I need to do it also here on the second loop. Let's copy paste and just change this to unread. And now it should be ready. Yep, it works. So let's see it in action. Let's see how the rock changes material when we change the graphic option. Okay, let's go. Epic, look at that, bro. The rock is changing colors. It's so cool, bro. So technically now the game should run better on mobile. Mm, Now I want to investigate how does the shader from the trees work. Like why did I even use a shader instead of like a sprite render? I want to know that. Like I'm using a render with a tree material. Okay, and the tree material uses this sprite which has all of the frames from the tree. Okay, and here is the shader. Animation speed, frame quantity. They make it very fast. Bro, look at those trees. They're tripping. Make it slower. Make it slower. Faster. Less frames. Wow. Bro, these trees are so epic. You're moving. I think I should keep it like this, bro. That's so cool. You know, sorting priority. Let's open the shader. I want to see exactly trees alive. Yeah, bro. Bro, what's this crap? I don't understand why did I decide back then to do like shader instead of using a sprite render. Maybe it's cheaper than sprite render. Should I use the same for the blasts instead of like I could just use the shader for the PNG animations for the blasts. Hmm. But this is so badly organized. I can barely read anything. The time multiplied but by animation speed and then floor or like an offset. Time link. Sample texture. Multiply base color. Like I guess I can use this shader graph or any kind of sprite animation. I don't know. Let me ask the AI if it's better to do this or to use the animator. Okay, I think that it's worth it to use the shader instead. I mean, like the AI is telling me that the shader is actually more efficient. Like the animator takes more resources. So yeah, I'm going to try to do that. Mm, so let me try it for the keyboard, but I need some sprites to use. So what sprites could I use, bro? Okay, just a second. Mm, I was also thinking maybe for some very simple blasts, I can just not use the animator and control the hitboxes by script because the animator can be consuming. I don't know. Like at the same time, if I do that, then I get less control over the blasts. But like for very simple blasts, like keyballs that just go straight forward, I don't really see the point on having the animator. Like it's just a blast which travels forward, and that's everything it does. Like let's look at the animator for a second. Mm, we will no, not here. I need the prefab. The blast prefab. So if like literally the flying animation doesn't even have an animation. It just has one keyframe. Like whatever this keyframe does, I could do that through code perfectly, and then the destroy one is the same. It's literally one keyframe. Let's look at the at something a bit more complex, like the what was it called? Stardust Fall resources. Yeah, the flying is just one keyframe again, and the destroy is, I guess, yeah, the destroy is more complicated. Just like first it turns on the hitbox, then it spawns a decal, then you have this thing. What is this? Mm, it's the keyboard game mountain. Wow. Why does it take it 1 whole second to disable the keyboard? That's weird. And then here you get like you disable the hitbox. Yeah, like this is more complex, but it still is manageable through the code, you know? Well, I guess the only problem is that through code I can't really control the size of the hitbox, you know? Like that's the main point of using the animator. Like during the flying, the hitbox is just this tiny square, but when the explosion happens, then it becomes this very huge cube. You know, that's like the main reason I like to use the animator. But if it's bad for performance, then I guess I should change it, you know. And this would pretty much improve a lot the performance, I think. Mm, maybe I should keep the animator just for the characters and for the keyboards use just call without the animator. Or maybe I can keep the animator for complex keyboards, but have like an option that does not use the animator. So like, for example, let's look at this Stardust Fall. You have the flying and destroy. So here you get this animator play flying, but then after that there's not a single check if flying is even happening. Then at some point the destroy will get called from a different script when like the blast impacts against someone or something. And then you will go to the destroy, no, not Punisher, right? Destroy starts full. And here it's like the same. There are no checks. So yeah, you can pretty much just not use the animator. Something I could do. I'm going to add it to my board of my Trello board as a future thing I can do for better optimization. Because like it's not even that hard to do. Like the hardest part is knowing what the size of the hitbox is, but I can just look at what the dimensions are here. Like you have these box dimensions. I can just copy them, the center and the size, and just paste it paste it here, you know. Like I could even keep this timeline. I don't even need to delete it. You can just disable the animator and that's it, you know? Like I think it's a pretty good idea actually to make to have even better performance. Okay, so I have added it as an idea. Maybe I'll do it on this update or maybe not. Like I could do it on this update because it's really not very hard to do. Like it will be just getting into this state and managing fear through code this timeline. So at time zero, you check, you like set these properties. Then at this time, which is like, I don't know, 2/10 of a second. At that time, you call the spawn nickel function. Then after 1 second, you disable this thing. What are you disabling? Like, why are you disabling that after 1 second? That's so weird. But anyways, and then here you disable the keyboards, and then you call the stop loss function. Like, can just manage this without this timeline. Like, I can first build this timeline, but then disable it and just use it as a reference. And that's it. But I'll leave that for later on. That's something I need to do, especially on blasts that you can spam and that are very simple, like basic keyballs which explode. Like any kind of blast that you can spam should not use the animator. And it's really not very hard to change. It's not like characters. Like for characters, I do need the animator because on every single frame the hitbox and the hurtbox change. There's too much to manage to do it everything by code. But for blasts, I can perfectly avoid using animator. Like I have no problem. Okay, so wait, but there's a problem. If I use the shader that I use for the trees, then I can't use a sprite render. I need to use like quad, I think. Or maybe I can use a sprite render. Let me try it out. I'm going to let's go to the keyboard. This keyboard. Let's go to the blast render. No. So here. So this is like with what? Which one was the tree, bro? Where's the tree? Okay, this doesn't make any sense, bro. Like I literally had a blast which used a tree sprite. Like, bro, I shoot a blast. Like it spawns a tree. Like where's the tree? Evil. Oh, okay. So like I have this sprite render here for some reason. Okay, yeah, I see. I should just remove this component here. It's just useless. Okay, so here you have sprite, it's the tree. Can I use the shader here? The shader which animates. Let me see. I think I should be able to because like you can select tree material. How's progress going? It's good, bro. I even just realized that there's a method for improving even more the performance of the blasts. But maybe I won't do it yet for this update, or maybe I will. I'm not sure. And yeah, like I'm progressing pretty fast right now. Okay, you have this tree material. Let me lock this. Mm, no, actually, I can't lock this, bro. Mm, the map design to increase. Okay, I can get there easily. Let's go to prefabs, data, this thing, and now let's go to project map design, the threes. Yeah, and there it is. So can I assign this material? Okay, I can, but why does it look like that, bro? Mm, how does the tree work? He like what? Like the mesh renderer doesn't even use a sprite, it just uses the material and that's it. Like I don't understand, bro. Let me try something. What happens if I add an empty game object and add a sprite renderer? And can I not add a sprite and just add? Nope, I cannot. Like it's just invisible. What if I add? Uh, this is not what I wanted, bro. Maybe I do need to use a quad instead of a sprite renderer. I guess I'm going to use a quad then. This is kind of a problem because this is the only place where I change the sprite renderer. Like I already set it up so it uses a sprite renderer. So now having to change it from mesh, it's kind of annoying. Mm, seems yeah, like I can't use the sprite renderer. Mm, so then let me remove it and add a mesh renderer. Let's add this material. Okay, why is there nothing at all? Bro, what? There's literally nothing. You what? Why is this not working, bro? Big copy this and paste it in. It's still not working. Maybe I'm missing some element. Yeah, I literally need the quad first, bro. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so have to add mesh. No, what do I have to add? Quad. So let's add a quad. Bro, there's no quad. What? Mesh filter? Oh, yeah. And here, quad. Okay, yeah. And now you can see it better. And it's moving, bro. Look at it. And it's moving through a shader. I'm not even using an actual animation. Mm, color. Should add this parameter. Mm, color, color. Have it by default white. And now I can reverse it. Oh, I say now can change the color. Yeah, look, bro. Can change the color. It's so epic, bro. Then what do I need now? I have to like the problem is right now I have one blast which uses sprite renderer, which is Godita's Soul Punisher. So I need to change that, I guess. Mm, no, what I have to do right now is change this code here. Oh wait, this is actually so annoying. Sprite render. I need to change that for mesh render and quad. No, actually, I can't even disable the quad. What? Well, that's fine. I can just disable the mesh render. Mm, okay. So let me change all of these sprite renders. I'm going to change them for quads. Mesh render, mesh render, mesh render. Here to mesh render. Okay, technically should be done, but it's not done because I remember the auras are handled differently, and I don't remember how exactly, but they are. And where's the auras? I don't know, bro. Where's the aura? Did I add? Let me see if I added it to the documentation. I think I did. Um, oh, this was the auras one. Okay, yeah, so I already made it. Okay. So what I have to do now is just go through all of the blasts, and like I have to do this anyway. I have to go through all of the blasts and assign sprites, PNG sprites to them through mesh renders instead of animator and sprite render. So yeah, for now we have these three sprites here. They can change for a different thing. So yeah, let me try actually doing a keyboard. So lasts evolve effects. Appearance save I'll have the material rust material. So I need some sprites for blasts. I'll have it inside of the sprites folder. Mm, so I think I'm going to use the same one DBZ Left2 uses. So let me search for those. Sprites. You come look. What's up? I don't know where are the blasts stored on DBZ 2. I don't remember where any of the stuff is stored. Oh, maybe in common, blue. No, not this. Keyboard. No, bro. How is it called? Keyboard blue. Is it this? Okay, yeah, I found it. I'm going to use this. Mm, so the problem is that if I use this system for animation, I can only do like a loop where each frame uh like lasts the same amount of time as the others. Mm, well, I mean, I could create more complex shaders if I needed to, but I don't know. I'll just take like three of these. Rock. It's too big. Rock. It's too bigger. I'm going to make it black and white. And now mm, sprites. Where do I even save this? Can I open this? Yeah. And now it's in here. So I can like go, we can make this and like it has to three, no, three frames. Okay. And here I just assign the actual new material and it's, why is it like bad, you know? Uh, if first of all, I need to maybe point and non-live. Okay. No, but why is it like hard? You know, It stretches. Mm, I don't really know why does it look like this. Maybe the sprite sheet needs to be square. Like its sprite is rectangular, and maybe that's the problem. So I'll just make it like squared instead. Let's do like 80 times 80 and then multiply like 3 for what? And then just take the upper 80. This is kind of a problem. Well, I can just make the quad bigger and that's it, right? Like, why am I even bothering with weird stuff? Or maybe I cannot. Like, why is there not? You know, I have to stretch it like this, but that's not good. Or maybe it's okay. Like, it depends. Like, if I'm using local scale on a visual effect, then the whole thing will get bigger. And I just want the mesh renderer to be bigger. This kind of sucks. Yeah, this looks way better. Okay, let's make it faster. Okay, That's pretty cool. And I also want to see if I can enable HDR colors. Yeah, HDR. So this way, probably now I can make this. Okay, that's a bit exaggerated. Brr, what? That's not what I wanted it to look like. Uh, I mean, it works, I guess. Oh, if I make it looks actually pretty cool. If I make it yellow, it's pretty cool too. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty nice look. So this is how it will look on mobile. Okay. And then the destruction will be like, I'm going to again use the destruction sprites for DBZ of 2. So these four. The main problem is that there are two types of animations. Ones which are loops and the other ones which are like explosions, or they are not loops, they just disappear after. So for explosions, I don't know what to do, to be honest. Because like I want to avoid a loop to happen, but I don't know how, you know. Mm, Maybe if I understood how the shader works, I could modify it to make it not loop. That's I don't know how to do that. I'm looking at how do I make like a shader for because like this shader works for looping animations, but explosions do not loop. So I need to like pass the initial time or something. It's kind of annoying. Not gonna lie, bro. Mm, Reliable. Let me try. Let me try the blasting name. Like the explosion is not set, but at least I want to see how the blast itself looks. Okay, that's it's cool. It doesn't get disabled though. Why is it not getting disabled? Or maybe I have to like have it disabled by default. I have to apply the prefab change. Okay, yeah, now it's working. Okay, I would like it to look bigger, to be honest. But how do I even make it look bigger without scaling up the whole thing? This is the only way I can make it look bigger. But then I can scale up the visual effect too, which I don't want to. Mm, I guess I'll just. It's not even using global space, so it's not going to affect the VFX. That's so big, bro. Yeah. Wait, 1 5, 1 0. Okay, that looks nice. And now if I change VFX, it will should it back to the VFX graph. What? Why isn't why is it not working, bro? Like the sprite run no the quad is not getting disabled for some reason. Maybe it has to be disabled by default. Maybe that's the issue. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's probably the reason. Yeah, that's 100% reason. So now if I turn this on, what? Bro, what's going? Oh yeah, like by default, the quad has to be disabled and the visual effect enabled. This is how it needs to look by default. Apply. And now we're back at the VFX graph. Mhm. So yeah, like the current problem is somehow creating a shader which like reproduces animations which are not loops. That's going to be a pretty huge thing to do. Like the shader graph does not know when the object get activated, so it doesn't know where to start the animation, so it's always looping. Mm. So yeah, I need to like pass to the shader graph uh starting time. Mm, something I don't know. This sucks to be honest. And no, I'll think about it tomorrow. I need to end the stream already. It's pretty late. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time, probably tomorrow.